My name's Tie-Dye. I live on Venice Beach. I'm homeless. Some people call me a bum, some people call me a transit, but I prefer to call myself a hippie. I'm standing right now in front of Doc John's place. What we do here is we collect clothes from the homeless, we collect food from the homeless, and we distribute it to the homeless. The only thing that we ask in return is that you give something extra, you return it to us, so we can make sure it gets to the right people and it doesn't get thrown away. Hemp, I love very much. Cannabis, I love very much. Hemp, the stalk, I wholeheartedly believe it can't save the earth. The fibers rejuvenate the planet. It's quicker to grow. For every 4 acres of hemp that's grown, for every 1 acre of hemp that's grown, that's 4 acres of natural trees that can be saved. Every 30 seconds, part of our rainforest is being destroyed. This is because the government is too stuck up and too bullheaded to admit when they're wrong. The only reason hemp is outlawed is because they stuck it under the name of marijuana to get it past the noses of the AMA back in 1948, 1938, something like that. Jack Hurd, the brother who wrote The Emperor Wears No Clothes, his booth is right down here, not the first hemp booth, but the second hemp booth. He's a very intelligent brother who will gladly sit down with anybody and discuss the legalization of hemp. There's a rally coming up December 15th in Washington. There's another rally coming up December 26th in Washington, D.C. I travel around the United States. I've been everywhere but Maine. Hemp as a fiber is stronger than polyester, which is the reason it was outlawed anyway by DuPont, because of this new fiber called polyester. It's stronger than polyester. It lasts longer than polyester. It's natural. It doesn't hurt anybody. The chemicals that make up the hemp stalk go back into the earth. It rejuvenates the skies. It decreases acid rain, which is very good. It breaks up the soil, unlike wheat, unlike corn, unlike, I'm trying to think of all the harvests they use. The government's got this list of plants and vegetarian stuff that they use, and they say that's better than hemp. They say this is the reason that we do this is the reason that we do that. Basically, it's all bullshit. We just gathered 330,000 signatures for the California hemp rally, which was earlier this year in March.
The governor looked at it and turned down flag.
Gateway Galvin, I believe he's a Republican. He's from Kentucky, northern Kentucky. He ran for governor this year and lost. He's going to run again next year. He's a major hemp activist. If you get busted for marijuana or for cannabis possession, I prefer to call it cannabis, so it's a lot of the other brothers and sisters. Because the reason it's called marijuana in the first place was to sneak it under everybody's noses. And marijuana comes from the Jamaican term, Mary Jane, or marijuana, which is cannabis. Cannabis is actually the leaf. Hemp is actually the stalk and the stems. There is no THC in hemp. There's a very low content of THC in the stems, and there's a high abundance of THC in the leaves. And it's been used for medicine for hundreds of years. I myself draw, and a lot of us do crystal work. I do crystal wrappings also. And it frees your mind. It lets you think more clearly. It's not like coke or crank or God knows all these other synthetic drugs that society keeps putting out, trying to get the ultimate buy. You can roll up a cannabis joint, sit down and smoke it, and concentrate better on what you're doing. Jamaica has done three surveys in 85, 87, and 89, and all 3 surveys verify that cannabis is better for you and increases workability. The mines in Jamaica actually encourage their workers to smoke cannabis because it increases their work productivity. There's so much positive stuff about cannabis that people just refuse to see. The Partnership for a Drug-Free America had 2 commercials put out earlier this year and last year putting down cannabis. Okay, if you've noticed lately they've been picking on coke and crank and all this stuff. And earlier they was picking on cannabis. And they had this graph that showed like the average teenage skull, brain waves, and then those of a pot smoker. Well, 2 internationally known scientists came forward and go, hey, you're lying. Those are the brain waves of somebody that's been in a coma for months. And the Partnership for Drug-Free America was like, oops, we got busted. So they canned that one. And then they came out with another one that had the heart rate and the lungs and stuff of a cannabis smoker. And you know, it was all black and gooey and sticky. And again, more scientists came forward and said, hey, you're wrong, you're lying. Those are the lungs of someone who's a 4 to 5 pack smoker of cigarettes, tobacco, which is far more deadlier than cannabis. You go to a doctor and say, hold up a cigarette and hold up a joint, ask them which one's more dangerous. It's the cigarette. Cannabis clears your lungs. It cures insomnia. It cures anorexia. There's only 7 people in the United States of America who are prescribed government-issued cannabis, even though it is grown on over, I don't want to misquote it, but I believe it's grown on over 200 acres of government-owned land. And I believe that's in Oregon, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I read that information. And there's only 7 people in America that get this government-issued, government-grown cannabis. And the main reason they get it is for AIDS. And the reason being is they don't have the will to eat. So they're slowly becoming anorexic, and your immune system's already breaking down, so they really don't need to become anorexic. So they smoke a cannabis joint, and you know, they get the munchies, which is caused from lack of saliva in your mouth. And they get the munchies and they eat, which keeps them up. I mean, these people have very little to hope for. So they might as well eat, you know, and keep as healthy as possible. I'm a firm believer in cannabis. I love it myself. I don't do coke, I don't do heroin, I don't do crack, I don't do anything else. I do LSD. We got to open our eyes and open our minds and let Congress know how we feel. If you can go to the public library, whatever hometown you're in, and tell them that you want your state legislative address, your senator's address, and your governor's address, and with it you can get, you know, the president's phone number. The president's got like this toll-free 1-800-1900 phone number, whatever, you can call and leave a little message of how you think he's doing and everything. It's the same number that got started in the Nixon years, the same number. And you can call them and request it, you know, that, you know, cannabis be legalized. Or you can do, there's another step you can do, which was brought up in High Times. It was originally brought up at a hemp rally in New Mexico in 1982, and it got reissued in High Times. And what you do is you take a dollar bill, you know, what George Washington said.
Say I grew hemp, put it in a little bubble, and
you know, make it look like he said it, because George Washington did grow it. Thomas Jefferson grew it. Grant didn't grow it, but his grandson grew it on the property. The property right now that used to be the White House, the original White House, the one that got burnt down, got busted a couple of years ago because people were growing cannabis on it because it was so fertilized. And it's not, deadheads aren't stupid. We know our shit. We know what's going on in society. We just refuse to be a part of it. We call people Babylonians. We call city dwellers Babylonians. The main purpose for that is because they live in the Stone Age. They want to
realize what's going on around them.
They refuse to question authority. They refuse to say, well, this isn't right. Or they might say this isn't right, but they refuse to do anything about it.